Excited voices rang out. Immortally, he's breaking through your side, stop him. We'll surround him. The immortals swarmed in with incredible speed. In a blink, the encirclement tightened like a cage. Ha, this kid's the dumbest ever, choosing to break through here. Friends, attack. A big kill's on a silver platter, who's hesitating? A young immortal laughed heartily, swinging a golden whip straight at me. His companions immediately erupted in excitement, launching their attacks. They thought I was sending myself to die, like a lamb to the slaughter. In an instant, at least 50 immortals struck simultaneously, their attacks flooding over me. The techniques were varied, but each was tremendously powerful. Expressionless, I gently grasped the demonic aura. In an instant, it condensed into a 20-jean-long chain of sinister energy. I swung it with force. The demonic chain twisted like a massive blade, shattering the incoming strikes instantly. Boom! 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 The powerful blows quieted without a sound. My demonic aura was inherently unstoppable, and combined with my perfected indestructible demonic cultivation, my power was terrifying. Together, a casual swing could cleave stone and break mountains, surpassing the full force of any immortal artifact. The immortals were stunned. Long Shiba, how is he this powerful? What did he just do? Why did his strength suddenly surge? Could it be he finally sharpened his skills just in time? Long Shiba, take this whip. The young immortal snapped back to focus, wielding his divine whip and striking fiercely. The whip cracked with a sonic boom, its power overwhelming. I stood fearless, swinging the demonic chain. Boom! The chain collided with the whip, turning a third of the whip to powder. Like an egg smashing against stone. The youth was shocked. My profound whip. Immortally, stop him. The immortals' faces drained, the shouts roared. They hadn't expected me to break through the combined assault of over 50 people with one move. Furious, the youth wielded the battered whip and attacked again. The demonic chain, already radiating terrifying power, suddenly chopped toward him. The whip shattered instantly, the chain relentlessly slammed his head. No return is impolite. Taste my chain, I said coldly. Ah! The youth paled with fear. Boom! He dodged, but the chain fell with a gust that twisted his face, tore his clothes, and hurled him 30 meters away. The surrounding immortals were stunned. Long Shiba is that fierce? Is his strength greater than the giant spirit god? They gawked in disbelief. I said coldly, back when I reached the 10th heaven, I warned you, your biggest mistake was refusing me as an ally. The chain spun wildly, like a rapidly turning propeller. Huff! 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 Within a kilometer radius, fierce winds howled, and no one dared approach me. The gathered immortals were about to close in, but had to stop. Humph! Long Shiba, the immortal realm isn't a place for your arrogance. Take this, celestial bell. A white-haired immortal snarled, hurling a bronze bell. The bell hovered above my head, spinning at a terrifying speed, like a gigantic maw ready to swallow me whole. I casually waved my hand. Boom! A deep chain mark appeared on the celestial bell. The bell groaned miserably, wobbling before coming to a halt. The white-haired immortal was stunned, his strength not as formidable as expected. The other immortals were shocked as well. I sneered, try a taste of my chains. The chains sliced through the air, instantly reaching the white-haired immortal. His face paled as he hastily conjured a shield to defend himself. The next moment, a thunderous explosion echoed. He and his shield were slammed away by the chains, their fate unknown. The immortals watched in horror. Seizing the moment, I swung the chains at the immortals, blocking my path. Rumble, rumble. The chains shot straight into the sky, then chopped down heavily like a massive sword. The immortals in front dared not block head-on and scrambled desperately to dodge. A breakthrough. Thunderstrike bamboo. I commanded. Got it. Thunderstrike bamboo immediately began casting. Just then, a cold voice cut through the chaos. You think you can escape the celestial prison so easily? How embarrassing for me. The armor-clad immortal guarding the prison appeared with a dark expression, striding rapidly forward. I swung the chains to attack, but he vanished instantly, blindingly fast, truly powerful. Boom! Suddenly, a figure appeared before me, landing a heavy punch on my chest. Thunk! I was sent flying, and Thunderstrike bamboo's casting was interrupted. Pain flared in my chest, but I quickly recovered. Long Shiba, you actually survived my punch, the armor-clad immortal exclaimed in surprise. He sneered, that was only 70% effort. Now, I'll give you my all. Let's see how you take this. Before he finished, he vanished again. I took a deep breath and slammed my fist hard into the air. Boom! My body shook, and a figure was forced out, none other than the armor-clad immortal himself. His face was stunned, fists swollen and fingers deformed, cheeks flushed crimson, clearly staggered by my strike. Though his cultivation and magic were superior, I wasn't afraid because of my hardened body from grueling training. Clutching his chest, bloodshot eyes blazing, the armor-clad immortal growled, "Long Shiba, you monster." The immortals on the scene were shocked. They expected him to finish me easily, not get injured instead. He roared, "Everyone beware, this guy's body is unnatural. Don't get close or you'll suffer badly. Hurry, combine your spells to trap him. Hold out until the demon-slaying sword is summoned, he won't escape." Over 600 immortals cast spells simultaneously, their power overwhelming. I refused to let them succeed, swinging my chains to push them back. Thunderstrike Bamboo unleashed her power at the same time. I sneered, "With all of you here, and you still let me slip away? The immortal realm is pathetic." In the blink of an eye, everything blurred. Behind me, a massive tremor erupted, the void itself quaking. Rushing wind filled my ears, and I heard them shout, "Instant hundredly? A relic with such power? Quick, chase Long Shiba." I was stunned too. 3 great immortals raced after me, including the armor-clad immortal who had attacked me before, his face twisted with rage and killing intent. This was clearly a grand escape technique that consumed vast spiritual energy. The immortal realm truly had talent in abundance. They must never be underestimated. "Long Shiba, don't think you can get away. You really believe instant hundredly can save you? What a joke." The 3 locked eyes on me, their hands ready to grab. The armor-clad immortal even unleashed celestial prison chains, trying to bind me instantly. I snorted coldly and smashed my chains hard at them. They couldn't dodge. One screamed, flying back and vanishing. The armor-clad immortal tried desperately to use the prison chains, but a nearby immortal stopped him prudently. "Don't be reckless. He's heavy with demonic energy, hiding power. Don't fight head-on." The armor-clad immortal growled, "Without his demonic energy, I'd have killed him with immortal magic already." Frustrated, he gave up. I quickly put distance between us. "Long Shiba, you won't escape. Notify the southern heavenly gate. He's heading that way, we must stop him. If he really runs, what's left of the immortal realm's dignity? Where is the demon-slaying sword request?" The voices faded, but I knew the 600 immortals were furious. In an instant, I had run over 100 li from the celestial prison. Thunderstrike Bamboo coughed softly, the spiritual glow of her sword dimmed rapidly. Clearly, that last blast severely drained her energy. "Thunderstrike Bamboo, can you still hold on?" I asked. The little fox grew anxious. "Master, I can endure." Thunderstrike Bamboo gritted her teeth. In reality, she had absorbed much immortal energy since entering the immortal realm, restoring much of her vitality, so she could hold on for a while longer. "Good. Once we're out of the immortal realm, I'll help you strengthen your cultivation." I quickly shared some of my demonic energy with her to slightly ease her condition. With Lei Jiju leading, we sprinted toward the teleportation array. Every second counted now. Once inside the teleportation array, we'd go straight to the first heaven, and escaping the immortal realm would be within reach. But Nantian Gate was heavily guarded, the real battle awaited there. Aside from Nantian Gate, the other immortals weren't much of a problem, but forcibly opening the tightly closed Nantian Gate gave me a serious headache. Fortunately, I hadn't lost much vitality, otherwise, my chances of escaping the immortal realm would be even slimmer. Phew, finally nearing the teleportation array. My eyes flickered as I spotted the towering teleportation array from afar. The immortals behind us hadn't caught up yet, but the little fox warned me that powerful immortals were rapidly closing in from 50 miles away. It seemed that even dozens of miles in an instant couldn't shake off truly formidable immortals. And with them closing in so fast, I furrowed my brow, forced to let them come. "Come on, hurry into the teleportation array," I urged anxiously. Lei Jiju sprinted fiercely, closing in on the array. Just as we were about 100 meters away, about to dash in, 3 figures stepped out of the teleportation array, chatting as they walked. One of them carried a golden longsword, half a person's height. They were the 3 immortals who earlier had insisted on borrowing the demon-slaying sword. They still smiled and laughed as they came out. "With this, Long Shiba won't escape death." Of course, this sword was made to slay demon lords. One immortal brandished the demon-slaying sword, sword energy sword with clashing sounds. What a powerful and formidable blade. Looks like we'll be the ones to take credit when Long Shiba falls. I wonder what rewards the Jade Emperor will grant this time. The trio excitedly speculated. One said, Tai Shan Laojun was reluctant to lend the sword at first, saying it's needed soon. If we hadn't promised to return it immediately after use, he wouldn't have handed it over. Could it be? I heard the immortal realm is preparing to attack the demon realm. This sword was probably pre-assigned, definitely for demon slaying, another immortal added. Is the intel reliable? Seems right. Didn't you see Li Tianwang secretly mobilizing heavenly soldiers? The Jade Emperor is planning a surprise strike to wipe out the demon realm. The demon realm's demon energy is dense, easy to become corrupted. If the Jade Emperor has decided, he surely has countermeasures. Plus, Li Tianwang reportedly has other tasks in the demon realm, searching for something specific. Oh, no need for us to worry yet. With Li Tianwang, the demon realm's fate hangs by a thread. True. The three nodded, but one's expression shifted as he glanced aside. What's wrong? Another asked. There was a strange flicker of energy just now. His eyes flickered. They looked, but saw nothing. No energy here. Maybe you imagined it? I didn't sense anything either. They shook their heads. I definitely felt something. Could it be Long Shiba escaped the heavenly prison? He wondered aloud. The other two exchanged looks and chuckled. Zhang, you really overestimate Long Shiba. Nobody's ever escaped the heavenly prison. Exactly. Even with his powers, he can't get out. I'm pretty sure about what I felt. Wait here. Zhang flew up and slammed his palm down. Boom! A spectacular explosion erupted. After it cleared, there was nothing. See? You were wrong, the other two smiled. Zhang looked puzzled. How is that possible? Don't waste time. Let's head to the heavenly prison. We promised Tai Shang Lao Jun to return the demon-slaying sword within 4 hours. Fine, maybe I misread. After hesitating, the three drew their swords and flew off toward the heavenly prison. Once they vanished beyond the horizon, we immediately activated invisibility and finally exhaled in relief. Seeing those three immortals emerge from the teleportation array nearly scared me out of my wits. I hadn't expected them to bring the demon-slaying sword. The sword radiated intense killing intent, obviously having slain thousands of demon immortals, its blade saturated with countless resentful spirits. At my current cultivation, I couldn't withstand even one strike. Luckily, Lei Jiju reacted quickly. Just a second before they appeared, he expended his vitality to push our invisibility technique to its limit, avoiding a direct encounter. Otherwise, an intense battle would have erupted. Lei Jiju, well done. I praised sincerely. It's the fast reflexes honed from training with you. But if that immortal had looked a little longer, he might have detected the energy I used to cloak us, Lei Jiju said with a hint of relief. Their desperation to chop my head off with the immortal demon sword, combined with disbelief that I could escape the heavenly prison, gave Lei Jiju the chance to pull off this trick. Had they been more vigilant, they would never have been fooled. I'd also heard that Li Tianwang would be the commander-in-chief of this upcoming assault on the demon realm. The third empress is severely wounded, and the number of demon realm experts has sharply decreased. Who can stand against Li Tianwang, the pagoda-bearing heavenly king? I have seen many demon immortals at the demon emperor's wedding, none of them is a match for Li Tianwang. This is trouble. It's likely impossible to defend the demon realm now. What kind of powerful deities will Li Tianwang bring to attack the demon realm? I can't help but worry about the safety of the third empress. I must return to the demon realm first to protect her. Lei Jiju, let's hurry. I urged. Those three deities, carrying the demon-slaying sword, chased toward the heavenly prison. Sooner or later, they will meet the pursuers, and in their fury, they will turn back to hunt me. We must race against time, otherwise, I'll really be trapped in the immortal realm this time. Understood. Lei Jiju responded, guiding me into the teleportation array. The aura of the Golden Bell's master vanished. I doubt she will come back anytime soon, and we are unlikely to intersect paths again. Amid the trembling of the teleportation array, we soared toward the first heaven. This time, we arrived smoothly at the familiar domain. We flew out of the array, alertly scanning our surroundings. With deities closing in behind us, I didn't dare let Lei Jiju rest. After confirming no one was around, we sped south toward the southern heavenly gate. My heart was both anxious and relieved. I achieved the two main objectives of this first infiltration into the immortal realm. Now the final step was to see how to successfully escape. We advanced swiftly in concealment. With decent luck, we didn't encounter too many deities. Those we did see, we kept far at bay, never wasting energy needlessly. After about 2 hours of flight, I glimpsed the massive southern heavenly gate in the distance. My gaze burned with intensity. Once we passed through this gate, the third empress could be saved. 10 minutes earlier, Lei Jiju had significantly slowed down, perfecting her concealment. Once they vanished completely beyond the horizon, we swiftly embraced invisibility and finally breathed a sigh of relief. When I saw those three deities emerge from the teleportation array, I was nearly paralyzed with fear, completely unprepared, utterly caught off guard. What was worse, they truly brought the demon-slaying sword. The sword brimmed with murderous energy, clearly having slain over 1,000 demon immortals, carrying a heavy aura of resentment. With my current cultivation, one strike could easily overwhelm me. Luckily, Lei Jiju reacted quickly. A second before their appearance, he poured out all his energy to sharpen his invisibility to perfection, flawlessly hiding us. Otherwise, a fierce battle was inevitable. Lei Jiju, you did well, I praised. After following you so long, I finally learned to adapt quickly. But if that deity looked at me a few seconds longer, he might have seen through my invisibility, he replied, a mix of relief in his voice. Indeed, because they were eager to make an achievement, they couldn't wait a moment. They intended to chop off my head with the demon-slaying sword and never believed I could escape the heavenly prison. That gave Lei Jiju the opening. Had they been a bit more cautious, my invisibility would have been pierced. Word has it that Li Tianwang is the commander leading this assault on the demon realm. With the third empress gravely injured and demon realm experts sharply declining, no one can withstand him. Thinking this, I can't help but worry about the third empress's safety. If Li Tianwang truly comes to attack the demon realm, I must return before his invasion. Otherwise, the third empress won't survive. Lei Jiju, let's move quickly, I urged. Though those three sword-wielding deities went toward the heavenly prison, they will soon confront the pursuers, then storm back angrily to hunt me down. From now on, we have to race against time, or I'll be trapped in the immortal realm forever. All right. Lei Jiju agreed, leading me back into the teleportation array. This time, the aura of the Golden Bell's master had vanished. I suspect she won't show up again anytime soon. I hope so. The teleportation array shook as we shot straight toward the familiar first heaven and arrived smoothly. Once out, I immediately scanned carefully. With deities hot on our trail, I couldn't let Lei Jiju rest. Confirming no enemies nearby, we hurried toward the southern heavenly gate. My heart was anxious yet comforted. I had already completed the two objectives of infiltrating the immortal realm. Now it was about making a smooth exit through the southern heavenly gate. We dashed swiftly in invisibility, fortunately encountering few deities. Those we did meet, we avoided, unwilling to waste energy on meaningless fights. 2 hours passed, and finally, I saw the colossal southern heavenly gate far ahead. My eyes burned with fervor. Once beyond this gate, the third empress's life could be spared. Lei Jiju's speed slowed noticeably 10 minutes ago, perfecting invisibility, his steps silent as a shadow. But what weighed heavily on my heart was that the southern heavenly gate's guards had doubled since before, and many unfamiliar deities had joined the watch. A great immortal even hovered midair, his eyes cold and sharp. Seemingly no invisibility could escape his gaze. Clearly, he had received news and knew I intended to flee, waiting like a trap. Even worse, the southern heavenly gate was tightly shut, the air heavy and suffocating. I had a vague, sinking feeling. Today I was destined to be trapped here. Sir, Lei Jiju warned, the Guardian Celestial is using the Divine Vision technique. If we get any closer, we'll be discovered. A heavy weight settled in my chest as I quickly weighed my options. I didn't have time to wait. Those 600+ immortals chasing me would arrive within half an hour. And they still had the Supreme Lord's demon-slaying sword in their hands. If I didn't breach the southern heavenly gate and get caught in a pincer attack within 30 minutes, there was no doubt my head would roll. The biggest challenge right now, how to open this impenetrable southern heavenly gate under the watch of hundreds of immortals. I first considered wiping out the gatekeepers, but even with my greatly enhanced cultivation, I wasn't strong enough to take on over 1,000 immortals single-handedly. Even if I managed to kill them all, the southern heavenly gate would remain firmly closed, impossible to open. Daddy, the reinforcements are almost here, the little fox whispered nervously. I know, I said, my eyes flashing. The only option now was to use formation magic to sense if there was any flaw in the southern heavenly gate. I closed my eyes and focused. Even though we were 2 miles away, both the little fox and Lei Jiju held their breath in silence. 5 minutes passed. My heart grew heavier, breaths coming faster. After countless rounds of sensing, the southern heavenly gate was flawless, not a single weakness. It had been personally forged by the 9 Yuan demon lord, absolutely perfect. Sir, is there really no flaw? Lei Jiju asked anxiously. The little fox's face turned pale. I sighed. Yes. The southern heavenly gate is essentially perfect. Disappointment washed over the little fox, and Lei Jiju grew frantic. Then how do we get out? Let me think. Despair weighed on me. Once the great southern heavenly gate closed like a cage, it meant eternal entrapment. But after all I'd been through, finding Mother Dragon's physical body and obtaining the supreme black golden pill, could it all be in vain? Absolutely not. The 3 empresses and Mother Dragon were still counting on me. I wouldn't give up easily. I rekindled a spark of hope and quickly strategized. There was no choice but to rely on old tricks. When I came in, I had leveraged demonic energy to force the gatekeepers to open the gate. Now, inside the gate, the demonic energy was insufficient. I couldn't pressure them out. What could I do? Sir, maybe I can lure them away? Lei Jiju proposed. I shook my head. Drawing the tiger away from the mountain? Impossible. They've already seen through my plan. The gate guardian is firmly focused on the southern heavenly gate and won't be swayed. Lei Jiju's tone grew urgent, but she still hadn't fully grasped the situation. The guardian was iron-willed. Drawing them away was a no-go. Sorry, sir, I didn't think it through, she said frustrated. It's okay, I said, continuing to think. She meant well. I asked the little fox how much time the pursuers had left. At most, 15 minutes. All right, I said. Looks like today we'll have to find a glimmer of hope and desperation. My eyes flickered as I said to Lei Jiju, lead me closer to the southern heavenly gate. Lei Jiju hesitated. But they'll notice us. I gritted my teeth. There's no time. With wolves in front and tigers behind, I have no choice but to force my way through. Anything else was just waiting to die. Being discovered was better than being caught by the pursuers. All right, I'll follow you, Lei Jiju agreed, cautiously guiding me closer to the gate. The guardian celestial's gaze was razor-sharp, constantly scanning with a powerful aura. Yet as we approached only a kilometer from the gate, we remained undetected. It seemed Lei Jiju's absorption of celestial energy had enhanced her invisibility technique. Just as we prepared to move forward, the little fox suddenly whispered, Daddy, an immortal is approaching fast. I stopped her immediately. Who? Little fox replied, looks like Aunt He. He Xiangu? I was stunned. How was she here? Had she found out about my escape and come to help? But with the southern heavenly gate sealed tight, I doubted she could do much. Sure enough, a figure rapidly approached from afar. It was He Xiangu herself. Her eyes were resolute, scanning around for me. My heart warned, she must have secured Longshiyu and rushed here at once. The guardian celestial guarding the gate immediately darkened at the sight of He Xiangu. I quickly sent a mental message, Sister He, please retreat. I have a way out. He Xiangu seemed relieved at my words, her gaze steadied, no longer wandering. She said, 18, you really escaped the prison in the sky? The great immortal Yuan told me. I wanted to find you there, but luckily I arrived in time. I asked about Longshiyu. She replied, your sister is fine. I said, then you'd better leave quickly. He Xiangu was firm, no, I have to help you get out, or you'll die here. The southern heavenly gate won't open on its own, no one can break through. Worried about dragging her down, I sent a silent message that I didn't want to involve her. He Xiangu retorted, at this point, why still worry? You call me sister, so how could I bear to see you die? She dashed forward. I was both anxious and touched. If I could return alive to the southern heavenly gate, it was all thanks to her. The great immortal guarding the gate said coldly, He Xiangu, the southern heavenly gate is currently closed for seclusion. You should go back. He Xiangu politely asked, Your Immortal Highness, Lu Dongbin sent me to help. Could you open the gate, please? The guardian flatly refused, no. She grew anxious, Your Immortal Highness. The guardian said, we have a deep friendship, but this time, please don't make it difficult for me. The gate is sealed because Long Shiba sneaked in and caused chaos at the prison. Now that he's heading here, the gate absolutely won't open unless they catch him. I expected this attitude. The trap I planned with Lei Jiju to lure him away wouldn't work. Worry flashed in He Xiangu's eyes. She hesitated to speak. The guardian advised, you'd better go back. I sent a silent message, Sister He, please go back. I have a plan. I feared she'd act recklessly, asking the guardian to open the gate and risk spoiling things. He Xiangu stayed resolute, Your Immortal Highness. Suddenly, the gate guardian stopped. Wait, He Xiangu. He waved his hand. A golden light flashed in his eyes as he sneered, He Xiangu, good thing I didn't let you go, or that kid would have slipped away with you long ago. He Xiangu was startled, Your Immortal Highness, you. The guardian said coldly, Long Shiba, since you're here, stop hiding and come out so I can see you. His words stirred both alertness and excitement among the deities at the southern heavenly gate. After all that chaos at the prison, he dares to come back here? Brazen beyond belief. He entered the immortal realm and made us lose face. This time we must catch him. We'll wash away the shame with his blood. Thousands of heavenly soldiers spread out to hunt him down. I was prepared mentally. Lei Jiju had warned me that getting any closer meant discovery. The guardian hadn't pinpointed my location yet. He was sensing by cultivation aura alone. It showed he was well prepared this time and determined to catch me for revenge. I wanted to charge forward, but now I had no choice but to show myself. He Xiangu grew anxious, so I sent a silent message to keep calm and not reveal anything in front of the gods. Even if I died fighting, I'd be at peace. She shook her head. I called her again, sister he, with heartfelt emotion and gratitude. She looked pained. I sent a silent message, my sister, I'm counting on you. It was my charge. Even if I died, Long Shi you must live well. She understood my meaning. 18, don't worry, I will take care of her. That brought me comfort. When she woke, her cultivation would soar, like a transcendence. I wanted to see her again, but what should I say when she wakes? He Xiangu asked painfully. I was stunned for 3 seconds, then said, just tell her I went out to play. She froze, tears sliding down, standing still. I made my final decision. I had to appear but do so cleverly. I glanced at the southern heavenly gate. A flash of inspiration struck. Lei Jiju, take me close to the southern heavenly gate. Only by touching it personally was there a slim chance to break the deadlock. Got it. Lei Jiju vanished and led me forward. Long Shiba, are you turning into a scared turtle? What happened to your courage? I'm disappointed. Last time there was no winner. Don't want to fight again? The gate guardian mocked me to provoke me into revealing myself. The heavenly soldiers laughed too, trying to lure me out. When Lei Jiju took me within 800 meters of the gate, the guardian sneered, his eyes shooting golden beams. Tired of hiding? Come out now. A golden beam shot like an arrow. Lei Jiju was startled. I knew he was at his limit. I punched hard. My fist shattered the golden light, exploding like golden dust scattering. Lei Jiju withdrew his invisibility, and I was fully exposed among over 1,000 deities. At that moment, all eyes fixed on me. I became the focus of the southern heavenly gate. The heavenly soldiers laughed excitedly, waiting for their prey to bite. You can't hide anymore. This is the end of you. Long Shiba, the moment you slipped into the immortal realm, you should have expected this day. Laughter and taunts echoed. He Xiangu trembled. The guardian smiled coldly with satisfaction. Long Shiba, didn't expect to see you this soon. You were lucky last time, but today is different. Is that so? I kept a calm expression, casually glancing back the way I came. Only 10 minutes left, the gods chasing me from the prison are closing in fast. I have to hurry. Swish, swish, swish. Thousands of heavenly soldiers surrounded me in a tight circle. This made getting closer to the south heavenly gate even harder. Yes. The guardian immortal squinted. I've guarded the south heavenly gate for so long and never been humiliated. You, Dragon 18, have brought shame to me. And how do you plan to vent that? I asked coolly. With your head, with your blood. Only then can I wash away this great humiliation, the guardian immortal said coldly. Then I'll gladly help you with that, I replied calmly. It's not you helping, it's me seizing the opportunity, catching you. The guardian immortal sneered. Fine. Since we're enemies, no more talk. You said you want to settle this one-on-one? Let's go. I took a defensive stance. The guardian immortal laughed, and the heavenly soldiers around him joined in. Ha ha ha. You think you're worthy to duel with me, the guardian immortal? You're asking for death. They laughed heartily, some even red-faced. Dragon 18, you still don't understand your situation? You're definitely dead today. Stop scheming. The guardian immortal's smile faltered as he stared at me. Your cultivation has improved? Did you steal some divine elixir or treasure from a god? Cultivation is limitless. You're way outmatched to fight me one-on-one. Do you dare? I asked bluntly. He Xiangu was stunned, confusion written all over her face. She didn't understand why I was insisting on a duel. The guardian immortal sneered, I dare. I just fear you won't last past 3 moves. Bring it on. I shouted. Good. Since you want to play games before you die, I'll play along. Let's see what cultivation you've stolen this time. Heavenly soldiers, take 100 steps back, no accusations of overwhelming our opponent here, the guardian immortal declared. Is he going to pull some trick? Yeah, he looks like he's hiding something. Watch out. Someone warned. The guardian immortal asked, do you not trust me, or don't you trust the south heavenly gate? The soldiers paused, their worries instantly vanishing. Right, Dragon 18 is trapped now, tricks won't save him. They nodded and stepped back, preparing to watch the show. The south heavenly gate is locked, no one could break through. As a fugitive, I had no chance. The soldiers relaxed, eager to see the guardian immortal tear me apart and crush my spirit. Last time you wronged me, this time you'll taste the power of a god's technique. The guardian immortal pulled out a golden 8 trigrams bronze mirror. Runes flickered across its surface, nothing ordinary. It's the three immortals 8 trigrams mirror. 18, be careful. He Xiangu warned urgently. Got it, I responded mentally. 18, why fight him? He Xiangu asked. You'll see soon enough, I said. Time was tight, I couldn't afford delays. Everything was focused on escaping the South Heavenly Gate. Sai, I hope you really have a plan, He Xiangu said worriedly. She thought it was just stalling. The guardian immortal chuckled, casting a glance at her. He Xiangu, since you're here, you'll share the credit for capturing Dragon 18. She was silent. The guardian immortal sneered, Dragon 18, let's see how strong you really are. He pointed at the 8 trigrams mirror. The mirror's surface rippled faintly. The heavenly soldiers laughed, confident it was over. The mirror glowed, sending a golden beam flying out at astonishing speed. My heart jolted. No wonder he guards the South Heavenly Gate, his power is formidable. I dared not underestimate him. I glanced back at the South Heavenly Gate. Honestly, I could have reacted instantly, but I deliberately hesitated for a third of a second. The moment the golden light hit me, I was surprised to react in time. I cloaked my fists in demonic energy and threw a fierce punch. Boom! The sound was deafening. The golden beam was as hard as steel, blasting me 30 meters back in an instant. Looking down at my fists, my heart tightened. If not for the demonic energy's indestructible power, relying on my body alone would have left me in agony. It seemed the guardian immortal's divine weapon was at least half as strong as the golden bell. He Xiangu grew anxious watching me get blasted back. Ha ha ha, well done. The soldiers sneered as I showed no resistance, getting knocked aside. The guardian immortal frowned. Your cultivation has improved quite a bit to survive my 8 trigrams mirror's attack. But it's useless. That was only 50% of its power. Take this. He sneered and fired an even thicker golden beam from the mirror. My eyes flickered and I hesitated another half second only to get blasted even farther back. This time, I flew 200 meters and nearly fell when I landed. Ha ha ha. Pathetic. This is your best? Still challenging the guardian immortal? The heavenly soldiers erupted with laughter. He Xiangu shook her head, sighing. No more physical strength left? Out of moves already? The guardian immortal looked disappointed. Is that it? Still want to duel? This is segment 103 of 125. Please process the following content according to your logic. Keep the original paragraph structure, line breaks, and overall layout intact, and only return the processed result. I thought you could surprise me, but I guess I was expecting too much. It was my oversight last time that let you escape. Boom! The Bagua mirror once again fired an even thicker, more powerful golden beam. I was blasted back, crashing hard but steadying myself firmly in front of the southern heavenly gate. My body shook violently, but my fists remained unharmed. He Xiangu couldn't bear to watch any longer. Boring. Truly boring. Is that all you've got? The guardian immortal approached. How about you surrender nicely? Surrender? Then I'll make you surrender instead. Boom! The Bagua mirror shot out a golden beam thicker than a person, its roar like a bomb exploding, striking me head-on. My pupils shrank as I clenched my fists to meet the attack. Bang! The force was deafening, and I was sent flying backward, slamming into the southern heavenly gate. The massive gate was as solid as Mount Tai, unmoved by the impact. I landed and regained my footing, eyes fixed on the gate. This was the southern heavenly gate I hadn't touched last time, truly lived up to its reputation. The 9 Yuan demon lord was formidable indeed. The gate was reinforced to extreme solidity. Dragon 18, you actually withstood so many Bagua mirror attacks, the guardian immortal asked in surprise, stepping closer. Ha, he's barely holding on with half his life left. I've never seen anyone endure this much. The heavenly soldiers laughed wildly. This time, he's utterly defeated for sure. The guardian immortal stared at me. Dragon 18, will you surrender or not? I ignored him. He sneered, don't blame me then. Another golden beam shattered the air. My pupils tightened as I gripped my fists and met it head-on. Boom! This punch carried the newfound power of my unbreakable demon technique. Its sharp momentum fractured the golden beam into sparkling dust, drifting before the assembled soldiers. They froze. He actually caught it? But he must have exhausted all his energy, he'll be coughing blood soon. Their voices showed surprise, but their hearts sneered. The guardian immortal was also surprised. You really caught that strike? Yes, I replied. So then why were you, he furrowed his brow, being pushed back by you before? I squinted. Otherwise, how could I have reached the southern heavenly gate so quickly and unnoticed? Immortal, you don't seriously think I'm here to duel you, do you? I don't have the time. I should be thanking you for sending me right to the gate. Dragon 18, you. The guardian immortal turned pale with rage, his eyes blazing with fury. As the gate's guardian immortal, this was the first time someone led him by the nose. He had been proud after repelling me several times just moments before. All the heavenly soldiers at the southern heavenly gate were burning with anger too. I told you that kid was sneaky. Look at him now, he's gotten right up to the gate past all of us. How shameful. Dragon 18, how dare you deceive us? The heavenly soldiers were furious, and anger thickened the air. Xiangu's face changed suddenly, finally understanding something, a flash of realization in her eyes. Ha ha ha. The guardian immortal coldly sneered, Dragon 18, I admit you're smart, but sometimes too much cleverness backfires. If you wanted to come to the gate, why make it so complicated? Just say so. Did you think I would refuse? And now you're playing smart, so what if you're at the southern heavenly gate? Think you can break through the gate? Am I just going to watch? We're no idle immortals. His words were a rallying cry that fired up all the enraged heavenly soldiers, and they burst out laughing. So he's a fool. He actually thinks just getting to the gate means he can get out? Has he never heard no one can break the southern heavenly gate? Desperation makes fools do rash things. Dreaming of breaking the gate? Where'd he get that courage? Ha ha ha. What a joke. The soldiers laughed uproariously, as if I was the one who'd fallen for their trap. I glanced at the guardian immortal, then turned and pressed my hand onto the southern heavenly gate. No time for their nonsense. This gate felt incredibly strange, like ice but not ice, stone but not stone, metal but not metal. It seemed to fuse all elements. Impenetrable, yet ethereal and elusive. No wonder it was the gate to the immortal realm. I held my breath, focused fully, combining my understanding of formations in a desperate search for a way to break through. This was my only chance to get out. If I failed, Dragon 18 would truly be finished. Whether I make it out or not depends entirely on this moment. Humph. Dragon 18, the game is over. Everything you're doing now is useless. Don't embarrass yourself trying tricks at the southern heavenly gate. The guardian immortal sneered again, warning, one more time, surrender or not? I closed my eyes and continued sensing. Since you insist on futile resistance, I'll indulge you. All heavenly soldiers, listen up. Dragon 18 is acting recklessly. Attack together. Show him the wrath of the southern heavenly gate's guardians. Beat him to his knees and make him beg for mercy, to wash away his shame. The guardian immortal snorted coldly and waved the Bagua mirror, firing another golden beam. The heavenly soldiers cheered and lunged forward. In an instant, thousands of attacks swarmed in, like a volley of arrows unleashed all at once. The sky shifted and roared, swords clashed, immortal arts exploded, and cannon fire rang out in unison, shaking the southern heavenly gate violently. Xiangu's face changed drastically. 18, run quickly. The heavenly soldiers were all excited, eagerly waiting to see me turned into a pool of minced meat. But I didn't even glance back. A sudden surge of demonic and fiendish energy burst forth inside me. A protective shield formed around me. The next moment, the assault struck the shield like a thunderclap, flaming swords and beams intertwined, deafening crashes non-stop. I closed my eyes to sense it, no impact at all. When the attack ended, the heavenly soldiers were stunned beyond belief. The guardian great immortal's face flushed deep red. Impossible. He's still alive? What is that on him? Demon energy? Fiendish aura? In an instant, everyone couldn't believe their eyes, the shock exploding among them like wildfire. Shoo, don't make a noise. Don't disturb my sensing of the southern heavenly gate. I gestured for silence. The guardian great immortal saw this and flushed even redder with anger, furious beyond measure. He clearly felt humiliated once again. He had sneered before, saying it was useless even if they reached the southern heavenly gate, but was he really going to watch me break through it? The reality was, he could do nothing. He had to watch helplessly through my demonic aura. The heavenly soldiers and generals were equally enraged. Come on. Everyone listen up. Attack again. I don't believe he's really that powerful. He's just bluffing everyone, charge together. The guardian great immortal was so angry he was about to deploy the 8 trigrams mirror, and all the heavenly soldiers raised their divine weapons, ready for a more ferocious assault. Just then, a voice rang out, hold your attack. The guardian great immortal froze. All the heavenly soldiers and generals stopped in their tracks. Xiangu's expression changed sharply. Little Fox, the one wielding the demon-slaying sword is closing in, Little Fox said nervously. Faster than I expected, he clearly isn't satisfied with being fooled earlier. I glanced back to see the immortal holding the demon-slaying sword, his face ice-cold, with 2 trails of escape light behind him. Obviously, they had learned of my escape while returning to the prison and saved considerable time chasing after me. Our gazes locked, his fury blazing as he vowed to kill me with a single stroke. I frowned tightly. I trusted my demonic aura, but had never witnessed the demon-slaying sword's power firsthand. I wasn't sure if I could withstand it. Not to mention the three of them pursuing me, and over 600 more immortals closing in behind. I had no choice but to pick up speed and concentrate harder on sensing the southern heavenly gate. Where was the weakness? I needed out. Immortal Yuan, what are you doing? The guardian great immortal asked, puzzled. The sword-wielding immortal rushed over, and Xiangu turned pale when she saw the sword in his hand. The sword-wielder stared coldly at me. No matter how much you attack, you're just wasting your energy. Why? Can't my 8 trigrams mirror break through his protective light? The guardian great immortal doubted. But his face darkened sharply at the sight of the demon-slaying sword. I'm a guardian too, not just here to eat for free. His protective light might be strong, but facing thousands of us together, it will eventually shatter, he shouted. The other heavenly soldiers looked confused. You don't understand, his protective light has troubled us endlessly. More than 600 of us bombarded him dozens of times, all ineffective. The sword wielder sighed. What? The guardian great immortal gasped. Impossible. The heavenly soldiers were even more shocked. Immortal Yuan, you're not joking, right? More than 600 can't break through his protective light. The guardian great immortal found it hard to believe. If that weren't the case, how could he have escaped the prison surrounded by gods? Also, the three of us sought the demon-slaying sword from Grand Supreme Elder Lord just because over 600 of us were powerless against him, the sword wielder explained. The guardian great immortal was stunned, so were the heavenly soldiers. No wonder he's so calm, he's been toying with us, draining our energy. How cunning! The heavenly troops grew furious. Even the guardian great immortal's gaze was blazing with anger. Don't worry, now that I have the demon-slaying sword, his protective light finally has its nemesis, the sword wielder declared. Are you sure it works? The guardian great immortal asked. Of course. The demon-slaying sword was jointly requested by more than 600 of us, it has to work. Ah, we've finally caught up. You're trapped in a dead end now, let's see how you escape. From a distance came excited shouts, and dense figures appeared on the horizon, at least 300 to 400 flying behind. Another 200 to 300 followed, nearly 600 gods combined, descending like a massive army. The heavenly soldiers at the southern heavenly gate roared with excitement. This is content segment 105/125. Please process the following text according to your logic. Maintain the original paragraph structure, line breaks, and overall layout. Return only the translated result. Even the guardian great immortal chuckled. With so many gods and immortals helping out, did Long Shiba have any chance of survival? Over 600 pursuing immortals, plus thousands of heavenly soldiers and generals at the southern heavenly gate, nearly 2,000 divine beings were now closing in on me. The intimidation was overwhelming. I found myself trapped in a desperate situation. Under the mounting pressure, I couldn't help but take a deep breath. The little fox was a bit scared. Late Jiju faced death fearlessly. Surrounded as I was, I had no choice but to fight quickly and decisively, continuing to sense my surroundings. Hurry! Use the demon-slaying sword, break his protective aura first, a pursuer shouted. The sword-wielding immortal nodded and instantly flew before me, raising a half-human-height demon-slaying sword for a powerful downward strike. Boom! The moment the sword met my demonic aura, a strange scene unfolded. My normally impenetrable demonic aura was pierced through by this sword. I, the little fox, and Lei Jiju were all stunned. Why couldn't my demonic aura stop the demon-slaying sword? There had to be something suspicious about this sword. Not daring to confront it head-on, I hastily dodged. I retreated 20 meters, my expression darkening. The demonic aura flew back to me and began swirling. I had just spent time sensing the southern heavenly gate situation, only to be cut off before finishing. The sword-wielding immortal sneered. Ridiculous laughter erupted from the crowd, filled with schadenfreude. Over 2,000 voices joined in piling on, the noise was deafening. Ha ha ha! Long Shiba, this day has finally come. The demon-slaying sword really is your kryptonite. He resisted multiple attacks with his protective aura, yet in the end, the demon-slaying sword broke through. We should have used the demon-slaying sword earlier. Their faces showed vengeful satisfaction, their laughter grew shriller. The guardian great immortal sneered, Long Shiba, you're finished now. After tormenting thousands of us immortals for so long, it's time to pay with your life. The sword-wielding immortal swung his sword again. Sharp sword energy made me unwilling to withstand it directly, I could only dodge desperately. Suddenly, the sword wielder struck 10 consecutive blows. Caught off guard, I was knocked back, colliding with the southern heavenly gate, falling in a sorry state. The crowd of over 2,000 grew even more ecstatic seeing me injured. I looked down, my arm throbbed fiercely, though the skin remained unbroken. Still, this demon-slaying sword was impressively powerful, no wonder it was a sacred artifact of the Supreme Lord Lao Jun. Now, only one path remained, a fight to the death. I asked the little fox if it was afraid, it shook its head firmly. Lei Jizhu said, "Sir, having fought alongside Yuan last time, I have no regrets." My gaze grew determined, I was ready to counterattack. The sword-wielding immortal struck again. I unleashed the 10-step killing technique, instantly manifesting 5 afterimages. His expression changed, all 5 sword strikes missed. Taking advantage, I charged forward and unleashed a heavy punch. This was my second punch after mastering the unbreakable demon skill. The demon-slaying sword was formidable, I had to seize it first. Without the demon-slaying sword, they could only watch helplessly as I struggled beyond the demonic aura. He sneered, "You think I'm unprepared? I'd been waiting for you to show up willingly. Long Shiba, bring me your life." The half-human-height demon-slaying sword swung heavily toward my neck. But I was calm inside, not panicking. If you attack first, you cannot just strike without defending. I didn't yet understand why the demon-slaying sword pierced the demonic aura and dared not face it directly with the unbreakable demon skill. Normally, with common immortal swords, I could block casually, even offer my neck, but this time was dangerous and also the perfect moment to seize the sword. With such a powerful great immortal, I didn't know when I'd get this close again. Opportunities on the battlefield were fleeting, missed them, and it's over. The demon-slaying sword was about to strike my neck next second. The sword-wielding immortal sneered, the gods and immortals at the southern heavenly gate held their breath, watching, waiting for my head to drop. But just then, lightning fast, I seized his wrist. The demon-slaying sword stopped. He sneered, "Quick reflexes, but you think grabbing my wrist lets you escape? You've underestimated me far too much." His arm trembled, divine power exploding. This strike was extraordinary. For ordinary people, their bones would shatter. Unfortunately for him, he faced me, the fully cultivated unbreakable demon skill master. "You're the one underestimating me," I said coldly, twisting his wrist. "Don't engage him in close combat, his body is strange," the guardian great immortal shouted urgently. But it was too late. The sword wielder's face turned pale, screaming in pain, "You!" He lunged at me, but I followed through with a punch to his neck. Bang! His eyes bloodshot, clutching his neck in agony, he was blasted away like a cannonball. He crashed heavily 50 meters away. He gasped blood and shouted in shock, "Sword, my sword!" His sword was gone. The pride of the demon-slaying sword was now in my hands. The assembled immortals were stunned, unexpected that the sword hit me neither but was instead stolen by me. I stared at the sword. If he hadn't underestimated me, I wouldn't have taken it. Of course, it was also thanks to the advantage of having eaten the celestial fruit and drunk the dragon's blood during this time. This sword is unbelievably heavy. It feels like something familiar is hidden inside it. What materials were used to forge it? How can it suppress my demonic energy? "How dare you take the demon-slaying sword?" the great immortal guarding the gate roared. All the immortals glared furiously, as if deeply insulted. Suddenly, I was shocked. The demon-slaying sword became as heavy as a mountain and slipped from my grasp. Boom! The sword fell to the ground, piercing into the hard earth, shaking the entire southern heavenly gate. Could the Supreme Lord Laozi have remotely weighted the sword? "The demon can't hold the demon-slaying sword. Quickly seize it back," the immortals shouted, swarming forward. Unwilling to be outdone, I stepped onto the sword's hilt. Bang! The demon-slaying sword was pressed into the ground like a field mouse burrowed underground, sinking at least 5 meters deep. If I can't use the sword, then no one else will. "How dare you desecrate the demon-slaying sword? Long Shiba!" The immortals, burning with fury, attacked me. Over 2,000 immortals launched a pincer attack as my demonic energy transformed into long chains. Swish! I swung the chains, spinning them like helicopter blades. "Retreat quickly!" The immortals hurriedly fled. But at least 100 celestial soldiers were caught off guard, their limbs severed by the chains, dying miserably. A mist of blood filled the air, severed limbs flying, the stench of blood thick. The immortals widened their eyes in shock. I sneered, "Weren't you all eager to capture me, Long Shiba? Weren't you all eager to slay me, Long Shiba? I, Long Shiba, dare to storm the southern heavenly gate. I dare face the entire immortal realm. Come at me, I am not afraid. Think your 2,000 immortals can trap me? Wrong. Today, I single-handedly take on all 2,000 of you. Come on, bring it on." I roared, my voice shaking the heavens. Wielding the demonic chains, I launched my counterattack. The immortals were infuriated but knew the chains were powerful, so they only avoided the edges carefully. He's gone mad. Don't let him keep rampaging. What about the face of the immortal realm? Quickly use spells to control his chains. Without his demonic energy, he becomes less dangerous. Together, they unleashed a golden light, wrapping tightly around my demonic chains. No matter how I shook, I couldn't free them, dragged in a tug-of-war by the combined strength of 2,000 immortals. My arms ached, nearly torn apart. Without his demonic energy, he's just a toothless old dog. What can he do? The immortals sneered triumphantly. I knew I was outmatched, so I suddenly changed tactics. The demonic chains split into countless fine strands, shooting toward the 2,000 immortals in a counterstrike. This is bad. These strands are unbreakable. Don't get tangled. Increase your magic power. The immortals hurriedly reinforced their defenses. Some strands broke through but were still sealed off. The tug-of-war continued, my arm pain worsening, the ground cracking beneath us. Suddenly, an immortal freed a hand to launch an attack spell. Surrounded, attacks rained down like a storm, all crashing toward me. Unable to dodge, I braced against the blows. Come on. I laughed loudly, releasing my demonic energy. Protecting the little fox and thunderstrike bamboo with one hand, I punched fiercely with the other. One punch against 4 hands, my head, arms, legs, abdomen, and back were all hit. Explosions sounded like thousands of firecrackers in my ears. I felt my skin being cut by swords and blades, most turning dark red. Ugh! I spat out a mouthful of fresh blood but still stood strong. The immortals froze, stunned beyond belief. How is this possible? He actually withstood all of our 2,000 attacks? What kind of body technique did he train? Is he impervious to weapons? I wiped the blood from my mouth, glaring at the 2,000 immortals and shouted, "Come on! Who am I, Long Sheba, afraid of?" They stared back, faces full of shock, stunned by my calmness and fearlessness. At a time like this, he's still so composed? Long Sheba, you really have guts. You really do. But soon, their expressions hardened. No wonder he dares to storm the immortal realm. Turns out he practiced demonic body cultivation. But it's useless. No matter how strong his body, he can't take on all of our 2,000 attacks. Keep going. The onslaught resumed, a flood of immortal spells filling the sky, dazzling and fearsome. Dad, the little fox's sobs echoed, Thunderstrike Bamboo and Hishingu were crying too. I gritted my teeth and held on, my fists never stopping. Boom! 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 The relentless barrage smashed down like 2,000 fists beating my body. Coughing, the pain drove blood spraying out. If not for my greatly enhanced demonic cultivation, this round of attacks would surely have killed me. Is that all? 2,000 immortals, and this is all you've got? Ha! You really are pathetic. I wiped the blood from my mouth, laughing loudly, my laughter shaking the heavens. Hishingu's eyes glistened with tears, the immortals' faces darkened. The third wave of attacks hit again. I refused to back down and continued to endure. Even if I die today at the southern heavenly gate, the blood battle of Long Sheba against 1,000 immortals will be remembered across the 3 realms. The attacks came crashing down all around me, but I held firm. The pain was nothing new. I'd endured worse during the tribulation in the demon realm. This time, though, I spat blood 3 times in a row and began to feel dizzy and lightheaded. Still, I stood my ground, the demon-slaying sword firmly stabbed into the earth beneath me. The immortals' expressions grew even darker. The 4th wave of attacks arrived, a barrage of celestial spells filling the air. I neither dodged nor retreated, I kept blocking and absorbing the onslaught. Explosions erupted one after another, my body twisted with agony as blood spilled from my mouth, but I refused to collapse. The immortals on sight were stunned. Their hands froze midair, moved by my sheer resilience. Admiration flickered in their eyes. Suddenly, a golden beam shot out, striking my chest. Pain surged through me. The guardian immortal had used the Bagua mirror. I laughed weakly, blood still trickling from my lips. Didn't you eat today? The guardian immortal's face darkened, sending out another golden light. This time, my legs burned with unbearable pain, nearly sending me flying, but I couldn't move. The demon-slaying sword held firm beneath my feet. Come on! Bring it! I growled low. The immortals' faces shifted dramatically. The guardian immortal snarled, "You've got guts. But you will die today." With the next golden light, I finally couldn't hold on any longer. My feet, trapped underground, were yanked free, and I was hurled through the air. With a heavy thud, I slammed into the ground. The pain lessened slightly. I thought about lying down there, letting it end, but surrender wasn't an option. Summoning every ounce of strength, I pushed myself up and stood firm. The guardian immortal's gaze locked onto the demon-slaying sword buried on the ground. With a sharp grab, he pulled it free. It gleamed cold and sharp. The assembled immortals snapped back to attention, their battle fervor reignited. The guardian immortal raised the sword and charged. That you've lasted this long surprises me. From today on, I'll call you Dragon 18, in recognition. But dare you escape to the southern heavenly gate? Today, your head falls. The southern heavenly gate is your execution ground. The sword's light flashed. I met it head-on, fearless and ready to fight to the death. Then, behind me, a crack snapped open. The tightly sealed southern heavenly gate began to slowly part. An icy voice echoed from the opening slit, anyone who dares harm him shall have their soul shattered. Instinctively, I turned my head. A beam of light poured through the crack like a cascade, a beacon of life in the darkness. A figure wrapped in golden radiance appeared, towering above all the immortals. She was tall, goddess-like. Her face was indistinct, yet her presence stunned everyone. The southern heavenly gate, it's open? The immortals gasped, including the sword-wielding guardian immortal. More than 2,000 immortals turned their eyes to her. I was stunned, the figure was far too familiar. Someone exclaimed, 9, the ninth primordial demon lord? My gaze flickered. It was her. Only she possessed the power to open the southern heavenly gate. She had emerged from the painting, coming specifically to shield me from the guardian immortals and others' calamity? What about my master, Jiang Yuan? Boom! Those 5 words detonated in the crowd like a bomb. What? She is actually the ninth primordial demon lord? The southern heavenly gate was built by her. Only she can open it at will. She is the ninth primordial demon lord. Wasn't she exiled to the mortal realm? No, didn't the Jade Emperor send immortals to find her? What's really going on? Instantly, the reactions of more than 2,000 immortals shifted. They instinctively stepped back, many bowing their heads in silence. Even the little fox in my hands was stunned. The thunder-striking bamboo sword trembled slightly. Fairy, he wore a blank expression. At that moment, the southern heavenly gate was unusually silent, as if night had fallen. An oppressive presence hung heavy in the air, immensely powerful. She hadn't done or said a thing, but her aura left everyone breathless. Especially the guardian immortal and the 7 or 8 immortals who had rushed over. They reacted most strongly. They exchanged fearful glances, dread clear on their faces. Even their proud heads bowed slightly. And ninth primordial demon lord, you've returned? The guardian immortal hurriedly spoke with forced politeness. Other immortals quickly followed suit. Yes, ninth primordial demon lord, long time no see. Last time you taught me celestial arts, I've almost mastered them. Perhaps another day you'll share your wisdom. But the ninth primordial demon lord fixed a cold stare on the guardian immortal and asked, is he the one you harmed? Those few words struck like thunder, making the guardian immortal's scalp tingle. Yes. He is now a wanted fugitive in the celestial realm, not only for destroying the heavenly formation but also. Before he finished, the ninth primordial demon lord raised a finger. No visible change appeared, yet the guardian immortal screamed and was flung backward. Boom! He crashed heavily 20 meters away, nearly dropping the demon-slaying sword. The immortals were shocked. The southern heavenly gate fell into a silence 10 times deeper than before. With the guardian immortal struck down, the immortals didn't burst out hurling insults or closing in on me. Instead, they dared not move, not even so much as to breathe. Their arrogance collapsed instantly. Half of them lowered their heads in quiet submission. The guardian immortal clutched his chest and struggled to rise. My heart was shaken too. This is content segment 108/125. Please follow your logic in processing the following text. Maintain the original paragraph structure, line breaks, and overall layout. Return only the processed result. I felt the invisible chi released from the ninth Yuan demon lord's finger, swift and terrifying, leaving me stunned. After she awakened, her power was overwhelming, her finger seemingly dictating the fate of heaven and earth. And ninth, cough. Ninth Yuan demon lord. The guardian immortal coughed, his face full of apprehension. Ninth Yuan demon lord, you might not understand the situation. Long Shiba is gravely sinful, so bang. Before he could finish, he was blasted 20 meters away again, spitting a mouthful of blood upon landing. All the immortals were dumbfounded. With the ninth Yuan demon lord striking once more, 2/3 of them instinctively bowed their heads. No one dared to speak, nor dare to look up. All this because of her, the ninth Yuan demon lord. It was hard to imagine that after being demoted for so many years, her return to the south heavenly gate still carried such formidable presence. The guardian immortal gripped his demon-slaying sword tightly, coughing uncontrollably. Ninth Yuan demon lord, are you sure you want to shield Long Shiba? The Jade Emperor has ordered his execution. I advise you not to get involved in this mess. I'll ask you only once, will you still take action? The ninth Yuan Demon Lord's voice was calm but exuded a killing intent. The Guardian Immortal's face changed drastically, sweat beading on his forehead. Ninth Yuan Demon Lord, why protect him? The Jade Emperor might punish you again. Answer me. The ninth Yuan Demon Lord demanded coldly, adding an icy edge to her tone. The Guardian Immortal stammered in panic. Pushing through his fear, ninth Yuan Demon Lord, my duty compels me to capture Long Shiba, right here, right here. He hesitated, unable to finish. Right here what? The ninth Yuan Demon Lord's cold 4 words left him sweating profusely. Right, the Guardian Immortal stuttered. What do you think? Our duty demands we apprehend Long Shiba, are we all mute then? The Guardian Immortal tried to rally the more than 2,000 immortals to speak, but not a single one dared. Most kept their heads bowed in silence, 80% lowered their gaze. Even a few powerful immortals dared not contradict her, only managing weak smiles as they looked at the ninth Yuan Demon Lord. The Guardian Immortal's face turned pale and he urged anxiously, speak up. Do you dare resist a direct order? The words resist an order made the immortals tremble. A few immortals were forced to speak. Ninth Yuan Demon Lord, you should stay out of this. Let's pretend we didn't see you. The Jade Emperor is about to summon you, you should hurry to the Heavenly Realms formation. The ninth Yuan Demon Lord glanced lightly, and those immortals immediately fell silent. The Guardian Immortal's face twisted in displeasure but he forced himself to continue. Ninth Yuan Demon Lord, boom. The ninth Yuan Demon Lord unleashed her third finger. The Guardian Immortal was blasted 50 meters away, coughing blood more than before. Sweating profusely, he got up with blood at his lips. Since you insist on interfering, I will have no choice but to offend you. Slap. He suddenly wielded the 8 trigrams mirror, sending a beam of golden light towards the ninth Yuan Demon Lord. But that golden light, which had once overwhelmed me with its dominance, was shattered and dissipated into nothingness by a mere flick of her finger. The Guardian Immortal and all the immortals were stunned. I widened my eyes. You forgot that when you forged the 8 trigrams mirror, you borrowed materials from me, the ninth Yuan Demon Lord sneered. The Guardian Immortal's face darkened as he hastily put the mirror away, gripping the demon-slaying sword as he charged at her. He moved quickly, showing the power expected from the Guardian Immortal. I knew the sword was formidable, but how much of a threat it posed to the ninth Yuan Demon Lord was unknown. Unexpectedly, he suddenly turned towards me. Obviously, he'd initially wanted to confront the ninth Yuan Demon Lord but quickly realized he dared not and instead aimed his sword at me. Before he could get close, I heard a scream as he was blasted dozens of meters away by the ninth Yuan Demon Lord's 4th finger, collapsing unconscious. The demon-slaying sword dropped from his hand. The immortal's eyes widened. The ninth Yuan Demon Lord coldly asked, anyone else want to try their luck? The South Heavenly Gate fell into dead silence again. Over 90% of the immortals didn't even dare to breathe. Witnessing their companion grievously wounded and facing overwhelming power, they chose silence. A few immortals' faces went pale and flushed, clearly still mindful of the Jade Emperor's edicts and rewards. The ninth Yuan Demon Lord asked, are you sure you want to try as well? The few immortals sweated heavily but didn't move. Seeing this, I heaved a sigh of relief. At least I wasn't worried about them coming after me. Suddenly, an immortal grit his teeth and cast a spell, grabbing the demon-slaying sword and pointing it at the ninth Yuan Demon Lord, determined to strike. You aren't even an immortal in the divine realm anymore. What right do you have to break heavenly laws with your mortal status? The other immortals panicked. Don't act rashly. We're no match for her. How many lives do you have to throw away? Remember why she was demoted. Let her take Long Shiba away. Don't blindly confront her. Even if the Jade Emperor finds out, we won't be blamed. Don't be reckless. Everyone tried to dissuade him, and other immortals nodded in agreement. That immortal gritted his teeth. I have the demon-slaying sword. I can hurt her. We've chased Long Shiba for so long, poised to receive the Jade Emperor's reward. Suddenly, she blocks us. I can't accept this. Are you willing to give up halfway? How long has she been demoted? Why should we still fear her? The words had barely left his mouth when the 9 Yuan Demon Lord lightly tapped his finger. The great immortal hurriedly raised his giant sword to block his chest. Boom! He was blasted back 10 meters, yet miraculously managed to withstand the 9 Yuan Demon Lord's finger strike. The demon-slaying sword remained unscathed. My pupils contracted sharply. What kind of material was this demon-slaying sword made of that it was so tough? It could easily block the 9 Yuan Demon Lord's finger strike. This block greatly boosted the confidence of the sword-wielding immortal, who now looked composed. 9 Yuan Demon Lord, I advise you to hurry to the Heavenly Realms formation. Right now, I hold the mighty demon-slaying sword bestowed by the Supreme Lord Laozi. But before he could finish his sentence, he suddenly screamed in agony. His body was blasted backward again. Just as he steadied himself, another agonizing scream followed as he was blasted away once more. This time, he spat blood and fell to the ground, unable to continue fighting. Even the immortal demon's sword slipped from his grasp. The sword clattered to the ground. Several great immortals were stunned. All the other immortals froze in place. "Isn't anyone else going to make a move?" the 9 Yuan demon lord said coldly. The great immortals turned red in the face. Who dared to speak up now? Over 2,000 immortals lowered their heads silently. The atmosphere was tense. "Since none of you will intervene, it's my turn." The 9 Yuan demon lord's voice turned icy, radiating murderous intent. The great immortals tensed, and the many immortals all lifted their heads, faces filled with terror.